Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our night of entertainment. Thank you so much for being here and supporting our students, your family, your children, and thank you for being flexible with us as we adjusted following Hurricane Milton. But it's nice to get together. We're all hanging in there, a little beat up, but we're all hanging in there, and it's great to see you here to support your kids. It's going to be a night of fun, entertainment. We're going to start off, tonight is all about 5th through 8th grade. We're going to start off with the 5th and 6th graders, and they're going to perform a musical called It's Saturday. Now, the goal is that you'll be convinced that we need 6 Saturdays a week, and I think you'll agree after listening to their performance. So, without further ado, 5th and 6th grade, let's give them a hand as they come on in.
Are we gonna boogie or what?
What?
Now, if we're gonna boogie with some real boogie, then we got to do a little warm-up. Are you ready?
Yeah!
Good. Now reach your left hand in the air and shake it like this. And now add your right hand if you've got what it takes. And now rock it. I said now rock it.
Yeah!
Now think boogie.
Boogie!
Now think boogie.
Boogie!
Now do the boogie woogie.
Yeah!
Now, in order to do a proper, you got to believe in the boogie woogie.
That's right! Amen, brother! You yourself!
Do you believe, brothers and sisters?
Yes, we believe!
I said, do you believe, brothers and sisters?
Yes, we believe!
Now put your hands on the keyboard and rock them back and forth and do boogie, oogie, woogie.
I'm doing it! I'm doing it!
Of course you are. A great teacher.
way of life. A way to glory and praise. My father's been a rooster, his support beyond reproach. But football's changed forever when they made my mom the coach.
Sixth graders, but I think there's a special person that we need to thank next, our 5th and 6th grade teacher and director, Mrs. Elizabeth Guzzi. Something to help you recover from all the practice. We need just a couple of minutes at most to get transitioned to the next play. Our 7th and 8th graders are up next. This is a special day because it is the debut day of a brand new magnum opus, or at least stage production for middle schoolers, written and directed by our very own Mr. Reimhelt, 7th and 8th grade teacher, yes. So he's going to comment a little. He's ready, and we got the stage reset. So that gives me an opportunity to point out that you all know Pastor Guzzi a little bit better today. Maybe borrow a joke that I heard about a running refrigerator that you need to go catch. No, this is a great opportunity for our kids to participate and get comfortable performing in front of others. It's part of our regular curriculum. That's why our entire school is involved with it throughout the year. We need to teach them about historical facts like video cassettes and CDs and going to the movies. I guess some people still do that, but anyway, the joys of working with kids, educating them in new and different ways, circa 1995 from It's Saturday. So I think you'll agree with me that it would be fine and dandy if we did have 6 Saturdays a week, yes? Yes. All right. Have I stalled long enough, Mr. Reimhelt? Yep. Yeah, that's my cue. All right. Let's welcome the 7th and 8th graders as they perform a 5-act play, The Everlasting Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. It was stressful in mid-August, realizing there was a show coming up and I had nothing to show for it. It's very hard to find a show for 18 students that is not a musical that they would enjoy performing. So here I'm struggling and struggling. I need 18, I need 18, I need 18. And my wife sees me struggling and she says, well, why don't you just do Goldilocks and the Three Bears and just be done with it? I said, well, you've got Goldilocks, you've got Three Bears. That's got 4 of my 18 right there. She said, well, why don't you just have 3 people be the chairs, 3 people be the beds, 3 people be the bowls, 3 people be the porridges, and then 2 people can be the house, and you've got your 18 right there. And I laughed that off as a silly idea. But then later that night, I woke up and I was like, Goldilocks and the 3 chairs is a funny rhyme. And so the idea sort of just came, and I started writing this. I had students in mind for writing it, and so I kind of put it together. So its goal is threefold. First of all, I wanted something for them to enjoy putting on. Hopefully you'll see that their joy as they put it on. Second, I wanted it to be entertaining to younger children. We achieved that this morning. And now our third goal is something that's entertaining for adults. So I hope you enjoy the show. It's fun, so thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Once upon a time, in a house deep in the woods, lived 3 bears.
One of the bears was Great Bear.
Yo.
One was Middle-Sized Bear.
Yo.
And the other was Baby Bear.
Yo. They each had a bowl to eat their breakfast from. Today, they're all having a bowl of porridge.
Great Bear had a big bowl.
Something to fill my great appetite.
The Middle-Sized Bear had a medium-sized bowl.
I also eat my steaks medium.
And a little bowl for Baby Bear.
A little goes a long way. They each had a chair they sat on after eating their breakfast. A big chair for the great big bear.
A great chair for a great bear.
A middle-sized chair for the Middle-Sized Bear.
It was 50% off. I had to have it. And a little chair for baby bear. I would sit on it. I just don't want to right now.
They each had a bed to sleep in, a California king-size bed for the Great Bear,
I thought they actually made this in California. They don't.
a queen-size bed for the middle bear,
I sleep like royalty.
and finally, a tiny, tiny bed for Baby Bear.
I get yelled at jumping on the bed.
After they had made their porridge and poured it into respective bowls, they decided to go for a walk while the porridge was cooling.
While they were away, a little girl called Goldilocks, who lived on the other side of the woods, passed by the house, having been sent on an errand by her mother.
Errands. I think that's just her word for getting me out of the house.
She found the house and peeped inside the keel. Seeing nobody was home, she made herself at home.
Well, what have we here?
Since she had already broken in and entered the house, she decided to commit a few more crimes, starting with theft.
First, she decided to have a meal of the porridge that was sitting at the table. She first tasted the porridge of the Great Bear.
This one is too hot.
Next, she tasted the porridge of the middle-sized bear.
This one is
Tasted the porridge of Baby Bear and
just right.
ate the whole thing, every last bit.
Having eaten her fill, Goldilocks came to the conclusion she had done enough work for the day and decided to have a sit-down.
She first sat down in the chair of the Great Bear.
This one is too hot.
She then tried the chair of middle-sized bear.
This one is too soft.
Finally, she sat down in the chair of Baby Bear.
Just right.
While sitting, she decided to take a look at the bear family, set it down on the chair, and
Oops.
Goldilocks was feeling very tired, so she decided to do what any sane person does after breaking and entering a house, stealing, and breaking private property. Have a lie down in a homeowner's beds.
she went upstairs and lay down first on the bed of the great big bear, but that was too high at the head for her.
She next lay down upon the bed of the middle-sized bear, and that was too high at the foot for her.
And then she lay down upon the bed of baby bear, and that nor at the foot, but
Just right.
So she covered herself up comfortably and lay there till she fell fast asleep.
by the time the three bears thought their porridge would be cool enough for them to eat it properly, they came home to breakfast.
Now careless Goldilocks had left the spoon of the Great Bear standing in his porridge.
Somebody has been eating my porridge.
Then the middle-sized bear looked at their porridge and saw Spoon was standing it too.
Somebody's been eating my porridge.
Then Baby Bear looked at theirs, and there was the spoon in the porridge bowl, but the porridge was gone.
Somebody's been at my porridge and ate it all up.
Upon this, the three bears, seeing that someone had entered their house and eaten up Baby Bear's breakfast, began to look about them.
Now the careless Goldilocks had not properly put the hard cushion straight when she rose from the chair of the Great Big Bear.
Somebody has been sitting in my chair.
And careless Goldilocks had squatted down on the soft cushion of the middle-sized bear.
Somebody's been sitting in my chair. Somebody's been sitting in my chair and broke it with this duffel bag of bowling balls.
Then the three bears thought they had better make further search in case it was a burglar, so they went upstairs.
Now Goldilocks had pulled the pillow of the great bear out of its place.
Somebody has been lying in my bed.
And Goldilocks had pulled the blanket of the middle-sized bear out of its place.
Somebody's been lying in my bed.
But when Baby Bear came to look at their bed, there was a blanket in place and a pillow was in its place, and lying on the pillow, there was Goldilocks.
Somebody's been lying in my bed, and here she is still.
The bears all let out a simultaneous grrr.
Goldilocks was startled and jumped out of bed.
Seeing the three bears, she ran away, and the three bears never saw her again.
The end. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Goldilocks and the four bears that eat pasta.
Once upon a time, in a house deep in the woods, lived four bears.
One of the bears was Great Bear.
Yo.
One was Middle-Sized Bear.
Yo,
One was Baby Bear.
yo.
And the other was Grandpa Bear. And the other was Grandpa Bear. And the other was Grandpa Bear. They each had a bowl to eat their breakfast from. Today, they're all having
Did somebody say spaghetti?
But now that you mention it, I am pretty hungry for spaghetti breakfast.
Well, use any luck.
We forgot to mention the bears have their own personal chef, Chef Macaroni Baloney.
That is me. I made you all a bowl of spaghetti.
Great Bear had a big bowl.
Something to fill my great appetite.
One big ass bowl of spaghetti. Cool, great to me.
The middle-sized bear had a medium-sized bowl.
I also eat my steaks medium.
Oh, where are my glasses?
A little bowl for baby bear.
A little goes a long way.
And an applesauce container for Grandpa Bear.
Spaghetti's too hard on my teeth.
They each had a chair they sat on after eating their breakfast, a big chair for the great big bear.
A great chair for a great bear.
And some spaghetti for the chair.
A middle-sized chair for the middle-sized bear.
It was 50% off. I had to have it.
50. I remember being 50. I was young back then. I was in the Olympics, you know.
Yeah, Grandpa. You told us this 10 minutes ago.
And a little chair for baby bear.
I would sit on it. I just don't want to right now. And some spaghetti for the chair.
50. I remember being then. I was.
And a rocking chair for Grandpa Bear.
I used to have a shirt that says Grandpa Rocks with a rocking chair logo on it. I wonder what happened to that.
They each had a bed to sleep in. A California king-size bed for the great bear.
I thought they actually made this in California. They don't.
A queen-size bed for the middle bear.
I sleep like royalty.
The Queen and I went to kindergarten together.
Yeah, whatever you say, Grandpa.
A tiny bed for baby bear.
I get yelled at a lot for jumping on the bed.
Me too.
And finally, just a normal bed for Grandpa.
And the last bit of pasta.
After they had their spaghetti served into their respective bowls, chairs, and beds, they decided to go for a walk while the spaghetti and applesauce were cooling.
Grandpa, we're going for a walk. I'm coming.
Grandpa, we're going for a walk.
I'm coming.
Grandpa, we're going for a walk.
I'm coming.
Grandpa, we're going for a walk.
Yeah, I'll be there in a second. Where'd everybody go?
While they were away, a little girl called Goldilocks, who lived on the other side of the woods, passed by the house having been sent on an errand by her mother.
Errands. I think that's just her for getting me out of the house.
She found the house and peeped inside the keyhole.
Oh, look, somebody's at the door. I'll go get it. Hello there. Hello? Come in. You're just in time for breakfast. What are we having? Pancakes.
Goldilocks loved spaghetti that was sitting on the table. They first tasted the pasta of the great big bear.
This is too hot. This is too hot. That's what I just said. This is too hot.
Next, they tasted spaghetti of middle-sized bear.
This is too cold. This is too hot.
They tasted the spaghetti of baby bear and
Oops, I spilled.
Sauce of Grandpa Bear, and
Just right.
ate the whole thing, every last bit.
having eaten their fill, Goldilocks and Grandpa Bear came to the conclusion Grandpa Bear had done enough work for the day and decided to have him sit down.
This one is my chair.
She first sat him down in the chair of the great big bear.
This one is too hard. It hurts my teeth. This one is my chair.
She then tried the chair of the middle-sized bear.
Soft. This one is my chair.
She then tried the chair of baby bear.
This one is too cold. This one is my chair.
Finally, she tried the chair of Grandpa Bear.
Just right.
While he was sitting, Goldilocks decided to take a look at the bear family's collection of bowling balls.
50. I remember being 50. I was young back then. I won the gold medal for bowling. Maybe that duffel bag of balls.
Goldilocks handed him the duffel bag of bowling balls and
Just right.
Grandpa Bear was feeling very tired. He had a long day eating everyone's pasta, sitting in their chairs, and holding bowling balls.
so he and Goldilocks went upstairs. He first lay down on the bed of the great big bear, but that had too much spaghetti on it.
He next lay down upon the bed of the middle-sized bear, but that had too much spaghetti on it.
He then lay down upon the bed of baby bear, but that also had too much spaghetti on it.
This is so much work. I'm exhausted. Try that last bit. I just can't stay awake.
Goldilocks lay down upon the bed of the middle bear, and that was neither too covered in spaghetti nor too covered in spaghetti, but
Just right.
so she covered herself up comfortably and lay there till she fell fast asleep.
By the time the three bears and Chef Macaroni Bologna thought their pasta would be cool enough for them to eat it properly,
And enjoy our rich flavor pats.
they came home to breakfast.
Now careless Goldilocks and Grandpa had left the spoon of the great big bear standing in his spaghetti.
Somebody has been eating my spaghetti.
Why did they use
Then the middle-sized bear looked at their spaghetti and saw a spoon was standing in it too.
Somebody's been eating my spaghetti.
Then Baby Bear looked at theirs, and it was knocked down and all over the floor.
Somebody's been at my spaghetti. It's still on the floor.
Listen, don't cry over spilt milk. But pasta is a different thing altogether.
Somebody's been at my applesauce again.
Now the careless Goldilocks had not put the hard cushion straight when she rose from the chair of the great big big.
Somebody has been sitting in my chair.
And careless, do pasta all over it.
And careless Goldilocks had squatted down on the soft cushion of the middle-sized bear.
Somebody's been sitting in my chair. Somebody's been sitting in Grandpa Bear's chair.
50. I remember being 50. I was young back then. I was in the Olympics, you know.
Then the four bears and Chef thought they had better make further search in case it was a burglar, so they went upstairs.
Now Grandpa Bear had pulled the pillow of the great big bear out of its place.
Somebody has been lying in my bed.
Who could have done that?
And Grandpa Bear had pulled the blanket of the middle-sized bear out of its place.
Somebody's been lying in my bed.
Who could have done that?
But when Baby Bear came to look at their bed, there was a blanket in its place, and a pillow in its place, and lying on the pillow, there was Goldilocks.
Somebody's been lying in my bed. Here she is still.
The bears all let out a simultaneous grrr. And the pasta chef let out one, "Eye to me."
Goldilocks was startled and jumped out of bed.
Seeing the four bears and one insane Italian, she ran away.
Who is that?
I think that was the queen. The queen and I went to kindergarten together.
The four bears and pasta chef never saw Goldilocks again.
The end.
When's breakfast?
Just
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado,
Bear and the Three Goldilocks. Once upon a time, in a house deep in the woods, lived three Goldilocks.
One of the Goldilocks was Goldilocks.
Yo,
One was Goldilocks.
yo,
And the other was Goldilocks.
whatever.
They each had a bowl to eat their breakfast from. Today, they're all having a bowl of porridge.
Goldilocks had a Trenta bowl.
Ew, this was absolutely disgusting.
Goldilocks had a Venti bowl.
Ew, this smells like it looks gross.
And a Grande bowl for Goldilocks.
Whatever.
They each had a chair they sat on after eating their breakfast. A case-made chair for Goldilocks.
Yas Queen, this sure looks so good.
A Louis Vuitton chair for Goldilocks.
I absolutely slay sitting in this chair.
And a Michael Kors chair for Goldilocks.
Girl, you are eating that chair up. You're looking great and bougie in that chair. Whatever.
They each had a bed to sleep in. A California king-size bed for Goldilocks.
You know they actually build these in California?
That is not true.
A queen-size bed for Goldilocks.
This bed absolutely slays. Yas Queen.
And finally, a tiny bed for Goldilocks.
After they had made their porridge
Ew!
and poured it into respective bowls, they decided to go for a walk while the porridge was cooling.
Do we have to? Walking hurts my feet too much. Plus, I heard it's bad for your health. Ew, really? Yeah, whatever.
How about this? They decided to go for a walk while the porridge was cooling at the mall.
Now that we can do. Why didn't you say that the first time? Walking around the mall is so good for your health. My friend Irma Gard lost 20 pounds walking around at the mall. Really? She's looking so good right now. Whatever.
While they were away, a bear who lived on the other side of the woods passed by the house having been sent on an errand by his mother.
Errands. What errands can a bear do? They won't even let me in a Build-A-Bear workshop.
He found the house and peeked inside the keyhole. Seeing nobody was home, he made himself at home.
Well, well, well. What have we here?
Since he had already broken and entered the house, he decided to commit a few more crimes, starting with theft.
First, he decided to have a meal at the porridge that was sitting at the table. He first tasted the porridge of Goldilocks
Just right.
and ate the whole thing, every last bit.
Next, he tasted the porridge of Goldilocks
Just right.
and ate the whole thing, every last bit.
Finally, he tasted the porridge of Goldilocks and
Just right.
ate the whole thing, every last bit.
I was one hungry bear.
Having eaten his fill, Bear came to the conclusion he had done enough work for the day and decided to have a sit down.
He first sat down in the chair of Goldilocks.
This one is too.
He broke the chair from eating too much porridge.
He then tried the chair of Goldilocks.
This one is too purple.
As he sat down, he broke the chair from eating too much porridge.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
Finally, he sat down in the chair of Goldilocks.
While sitting, he decided to take a look at the Goldilocks' collection of down on the chair and
Broke that one too. I know.
Bear was feeling very tired, so he decided to do what any sane person does after breaking and entering a house, stealing and breaking private property. Have a lie down in the homeowners' beds.
he went upstairs and lay down first on the bed of Goldilocks, but he didn't really like it.
He next lay down upon the bed of Goldilocks, but he didn't really like that either.
And then he lay down upon the bed of Goldilocks, and that was no better either.
I have a good idea.
He continued to push all the beds together and make a blanket fort.
By the time the Goldilocks thought their porridge would be cool enough for them to eat it properly, they came home to breakfast.
We should have eaten at the food court so that we don't have to eat that grody porridge. It's so ew. Whatever.
Now Careless Bear had left the spoon of Goldilocks standing in her bowl.
Ew. Somebody's eating my porridge.
Then Goldilocks looked at her porridge and saw a spoon was standing in it too.
Ew. Some grandma has eaten my porridge.
Then Goldilocks looked at hers, and there was the spoon in the porridge bowl, but the porridge was gone.
Whatever. I don't really care that they ate this nasty looking porridge. I don't think any of us do. We're also like, the three of us are like twins or something. Whatever.
Upon this, the three Goldilocks, seeing that someone had entered their house and eaten up all their breakfast, began to look about them.
Now Careless Bear had broken the chair of Goldilocks.
Somebody's broken my chair.
And Careless Bear had broken Goldilocks' chair.
Somebody has broken my chair. Share.
Then the three Goldilocks thought they had better make further search in case it was a burglar, so they went upstairs, but not without arming themselves with a baseball bat, a tennis racket, and a popsicle stick,
They crept up carefully to the blanket fort.
and began whacking it, whacking and lightly jabbing it and whacking it.
They pulled back the blankets from the blanket fort, and there, quite boinked, there was Bear.
The Goldilocks all let out a simultaneous grrr.
Bear was startled and jumped out of bed,
Seeing the three Goldilocks, he ran away, and the three Goldilocks never saw a bear again.
and they lived happily after. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Goldilocks and the Three Pigs.
Once upon a time, in a house deep in the woods, lived three pigs.
One of the pigs really loved straw.
Yeah.
One of the pigs really loved sticks.
Yo.
And the other pig really loved Twix.
Yo.
They each had a bowl to eat their breakfast from. Today, they're all having a bowl of porridge, using their very own recipe.
The first pig had made his porridge out of straw.
With a little bit of strawberry.
The second pig had made his porridge out of sticks.
Typically I have to floss afterwards because some of it sticks in my teeth.
And the last pig made his porridge out of Twix.
Silly kids. Twix are for pigs.
They each had a chair they sat on after eating their breakfast. A straw chair for the first pig,
It's strawsome.
A stick chair for the second pig.
Completely normal to have a chair made out of sticks. Nothing wrong with that at all.
and for the last pig, a chair made out of Twix.
Twix and stones make great fun bones, but this chair won't break.
They each had a bed to sleep in. A California straw bed for the first pig.
I thought they actually mentioned California. They don't.
A stick bed for the middle bear,
I can saw logs anywhere, so this bed is perfect for me.
After they had made their porridge and poured it into respective bowls, they decided to go for a walk while the porridge was cooling.
A girl called Goldilocks, who lived on the other side of the woods, passed by the house, had been sent on an errand by her mother.
Errands. I think that's just her word for getting me out of the house.
She found the house and peeped inside the keyhole. Seeing nobody was home, she made herself at home.
T.U. It smells like a pigsty in here.
Since she had already broken in and entered the house, she decided to commit a few more crimes, starting with theft.
First, she decided to have a meal of the porridge that was sitting at the table. She first tasted the straw porridge.
Who would eat this?
Next, she tasted the porridge of the second pig.
This is worse than the last one.
Finally, she tasted the porridge of the third pig and
Just right.
ate the whole thing, every last bit.
Having eaten her fill, Goldilocks came to the conclusion she had done enough work for the day and decided to have a sit down.
She first sat down in the straw chair.
This is so uncomfortable. My patience is not strong enough to sit on this anymore.
She then tried the chair of the second pig.
This is so uncomfortable. I would not sit on this anymore.
Finally, she sat down in the chair of the third pig and
Just right.
ate the whole thing, every last bit.
Goldilocks was feeling very tired, so she decided to do what any sane person does after breaking and entering a house.
Stealing and eating private property. Have a lie down in the homeowners' beds.
She went upstairs and lay down first on the bed of the first pig, but that was too scratchy.
She next lay down upon the bed of the second pig, and that was too pokey.
And then she lay down upon the bed of the third pig, and that was.
Just right.
And she ate the whole thing, every last bit.
She kind of just fell over at that point and fell fast asleep.
By the time the three pigs thought their porridge would be cool enough for them to eat it properly, they came home to breakfast.
Now careless Goldilocks had left the spoon of the first pig.
Somebody has been at my porridge and has eaten it all up. They must have really liked it.
Then the second pig looked at their porridge.
Somebody has been eating my porridge and ate it all up. They must have really, really liked it.
Then the third pig looked at theirs, and there was the spoon in the porridge bowl, but the porridge was gone.
Somebody's been at my porch and ate it all up.
Upon this, the three bears, seeing that someone had entered their house and eaten up or at least tasted their breakfast, began to look about them.
Now the careless Goldilocks had not properly patted down the straw of the first pig's chair.
This is a catastrophe. Somebody has been sitting in my chair and left it this very complimentary 5-star Amazon review.
Goldilocks had broken some part of the second pig's chair.
This is a catastrophe. Somebody has been sitting in my chair and said it was really, really comfy and wouldn't sit in any other chairs.
Somebody's been sitting in my chair and ate it? Why would they eat it?
Then the three pigs thought they had better make further search in case it was a burglar, so they went upstairs.
Now Goldilocks had pulled the pillow of the first pig's bed out of its place.
This is Strawful. Somebody has been lying in my bed.
And Goldilocks had pulled the blanket of the second pig out of its place.
Oh, fiddlesticks. Someone has been lying in my bed.
Somebody's been lying in my bed and ate it as well. What am I supposed to sleep on now?
We told you a Twix bed was a bad idea.
It was supposed to either melt or get eaten eventually.
I just couldn't think of any other material to make porridge, a chair, or a bed out of besides Twix.
Who's that?
Lying on the floor, there was Goldilocks.
The pigs all let out a simultaneous oink.
Goldilocks was startled and jumped out of the blankets.
Seeing the three pigs, she ran away, and the three pigs never saw her again.
What about bricks?
The end. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Goldilocks and the Four Nerds.
Once upon a time, in a house deep in the woods, lived four nerds.
One of the nerds was a science nerd.
Hello, Bridget. Just kidding. I know Tiger Good.
One was a Star Wars nerd.
Hello there. Just like Obi-Wan said in the third movie.
One was a comic books nerd.
I am Kurt. That's how I want 4 o'clock.
And finally, there was another nerd who was just nerdy about everything.
Greetings and salutations.
They each had a bowl to eat their breakfast from. Today, they were all having a bowl of porridge.
The science nerd was cutting bananas for his porridge in a beaker.
Potassium! More like potassium! I can't wait to iodine on this breakfast.
Star Wars nerd had his porridge in a Star Wars bowl.
I can't wait to Chewbacca this porridge.
The third nerd had a comic-related bowl.
I marvel at the incredible craftsmanship of bowl.
And a paper bowl for the last nerd.
Dramatically, I'm allergic to polyethylene diethylite.
I know what that means. Diagnosing French.
The first nerd's chair was next to his science set.
Actually, it's a chemistry set. You would have known that if you weren't such a boron.
The second nerd's chair was next to his Star Wars encyclopedia.
Actually, he didn't say, Luke, I'm your father. What he really says in the movie is, no, I'm your father. Only a true fan would know that.
The third nerd's chair was next to his comics.
With great power comes great responsibility. I have the responsibility to read all these comics.
The fourth nerd's chair was next to his Dungeons and Dragons library.
Actually, it's a chaise lounge. Calling it a chair is just hereditary.
They each had a bed to sleep in. A California king-size bed for the science nerd.
I thought they actually made this out of California. That assumption was negatory.
A queen-size bed for the Star Wars nerd.
Queen Amidala, obeying an official agenda of the planet Naboo, is an underrated character in history.
An X-Men bed for the comic nerd.
When I sleep in this, I'm more of a G-man.
And finally, a Lightning McQueen car bed for the fourth nerd.
True nostalgia is an ephemeral composition of disjointed memories.
After they had made their porridge and poured it into respective bowls, they decided to go for a walk while the porridge was cooling.
While they were away, a little girl called Goldilocks, who lived on the other side of the woods, passed by the house having been sent on an errand by her mother.
Errands, I think that's just a word for getting me out of the house.
She found the house and peeped inside the keyhole. Seeing nobody was home, she made herself at home.
Well, what have we here?
Since she had already broken in and entered the house, she decided to commit a few more crimes, starting with theft.
First, she decided to have a meal of the porridge that was sitting at the table. She first tasted the porridge of the science nerd.
Element? I don't know any element. Does she go to my school?
Next, she tasted the porridge of the Star Wars nerd.
What is this ET?
Then, she tried the porridge of the comic nerd.
My favorite comic characters are probably the Incredibles.
Finally, she tasted the porridge of fourth and
Why is this in a paper bowl? It just makes everything all mushy and soggy. Why not use plastic?
ate the whole thing, every last bit.
I'm not doing that. You can't make me do that. I'm putting that in a plastic bowl.
Having eaten her fill, Goldilocks came to the conclusion she had done enough work for the day and decided to have a sit down.
She first sat down in the chair of the science nerd.
Oh, cool. A science set. I'll mix a few of these together to create a magic potion. What's dehydrogen oxide?
Then she tried the chair of the second nerd.
Oh, cool. Yoda. He's my favorite. I'm Mui Mui. You should follow me now, okay? Me, your humble servant. Something like that.
Next, she tried the chair surrounded by comic books.
Oh, cool. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a plane.
Finally, she sat down in the chair of the last nerd.
Oh, cool. Dice. Oops.
Goldilocks was feeling very tired, so she decided to do what any sane person does after breaking and entering a house, stealing, and breaking private property. Have a lie down in the homeowners' beds.
She went upstairs and lay down first on the bed of the science nerd, but that was too high at the head for her.
She next lay down upon the bed of the second, and that was too high at the foot for her.
Then she lay down upon the bed of the comic nerd, and that was too high at the head and too high at the foot.
And then she lay down upon the bed of the fourth nerd, and that was neither too high at the head nor at the foot, but
A lightning McQueen car bed? What is this, a baby's bed?
so she covered herself up comfortably and lay there till she fell fast asleep.
By the time the four nerds thought their porridge had
Reach the suboptimal temperature for consumption.
they came home to breakfast.
Now careless Goldilocks had left the spoon of the first nerd standing in his porridge.
Somebody has Death Starred my porridge.
Then the science nerd looked at their porridge and saw the spoon was standing in it too.
Looks like you're not the only one. Both of our porridges are gone.
Then the third nerd's chair looked at theirs, and there was his spoon in the porridge bowl.
Is this some sort of prank from mission? Somebody's put my porridge into a plastic bowl. Now I can't eat it without an anaphylactoid reaction.
Upon this, the four nerds, seeing that someone had entered their house and eaten up all their breakfast, began to look about them. And careless Goldilocks had left some chemical concoction out on the first nerd's desk.
Looks like somebody's been in my stuff and mixed car oil with apple juice. You guys weren't trying to make uranium again, tell me, were you? If I had a nickel for every time somebody touched my stuff, I'd be able to afford that Hadron Collider I've always wanted.
Now the careless Goldilocks had not put the Star Wars book back when she rose from the chair of the Star Wars nerd.
Somebody's been sitting in my chair and has been reading my political analysis of the Trade Federation. I'd be interested to pick their minds on the Galactic Empire.
Someone has been sitting in my chair and has turned one of my priceless comics into a paper airplane. This is very bad, man.
Someone's been sitting in my chair and knocked over all my dice. And they're all nat 20s.
Then the three nerds thought they had better make further search in case it was a burglar, so they went upstairs.
Excuse me, did you say burglar? I don't have the robustness nor the fortitude to take on a burglar. I'll wait here.
Well, I want this burglar to seize I'm stealing our stuff. I might want to keep this bromide company. You see, darkness is not my head. I didn't adapt to it. I wasn't molded by it. I wasn't born into it. By the time I could see the dark, I was already a man. By then, there was nothing to me about blinding.
Don't worry. This is where the fun is.
Now Goldilocks had pulled the pillow of the first nerd out of its place.
It's no use. I have to hide out. Did you get the intruder?
Bury him! Bury him!
And Goldilocks had pulled the blanket of the second nerd out of its place.
This is preposterous! Somebody's been laying in my bed!
But when the nerd came to look at their bed, there was a blanket in place and a pillow was in its place, and lying on the Lightning McQueen car bed, there was Goldilocks.
Someone's been lying in my bed. And it's a girl. A repeated source of social anxiety.
Yo, she spoke to us!
The nerds all let out a simultaneous eek. Seeing Goldilocks, they ran away, and Goldilocks never saw the three nerds again.
The end.
Well done, well done. We need to give, especially you guys, need to give Mr. Ramheld a hand for being writer and director. Some goodies to help you recover as well. And 5th, 6th grade, 7th, and 8th, you guys all need to give your family and friends a hand for coming out to watch you today. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for spending your evening with us. Please pick up your nerds on your way home. Have a good night, everyone.